Hi, my name is Tomar Thomas, and today I'm going to be sharing my glowy fall makeup routine with you guys. I asked over on my Instagram for you guys to send me some questions, so we're going to be going through those while I start. But before we get started, I feel like the most important part of makeup application is skin prep. So I'm going to be starting off with the Caudalie Beauty Elixir. I like to spray this on my face. I cleanse my face already, and I like to just go in with this. It's like a nice mist, really like refreshes the face. Next, I'm also going in with the Caudalie Radiance Serum. I use this morning and night. I feel like it really helps with discoloration. Also just keeps my skin very hydrated and glowy. Never forget to bring the excess product onto your neck and your chest. For moisturizer, I've been using the Tula 24/7 moisturizer. I've been using this for years. It's a gel cream. Very, very hydrating, especially if you have dry skin, but it doesn't feel heavy, which I think is very nice. I really like to let those skincare products seep into my skin. So let's go ahead and answer the first question. How did you get started in influencing? So I basically just started posting photos on Instagram. I really love fashion. I love dressing up. All of my friends know that I'm always overdressed, and I started to use Instagram as an outlet to share my outfits. I did it kind of throughout college, but I also played volleyball in college, so I didn't really have time to like make it a career, but I really did like it. And at the time, like YouTubers and like people on Instagram were really starting to like grow a following and start making money from it. So I always knew that it was an option. When I graduated from college, I kind of just like dove into it. The pandemic hit, and it really just gave me the time to really dive into influencing while I was still in school. I also got a question saying, what do you do? So like I said, was in school. I graduated with my first degree in public health, and then I went to nursing school and graduated with a nursing degree. And I graduated in December of 2021. So I basically had my license for almost a year. I worked in a home health agency for 2 months, and then my boyfriend and I found out we were moving to Austin. So I currently live in Austin. And I basically just decided to try out social media full time for the time being. I did actually just go through the process of interviewing, so I do start a job in January, but I really have loved the idea of doing social media full time. I feel like this has been a great opportunity, but I do want to use my degree to some extent, maybe not forever, but I went to school and I worked really hard for that degree, so I definitely want to use it. Okay, first, for makeup, I'm going to start with this Got To Be Glue gel, and I've been using this in my eyebrows. I don't put any other products in my eyebrows. I just use this, and I just like to brush them up. It really does hold your brows in place, and a little bit goes a really long way. For primer, I'm going to be using the Giorgio Armani Hydrating Silk Primer. And I basically just take a little on my 2 fingers and just massage that into my face, all over. It's just another part of skin prep. You honestly can skip this if you do your skincare routine, but I feel like the more hydration, the better, you know? We are going straight in with foundation. This is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, and the hype is so freaking real. This foundation is so good. A key to always applying your foundation very evenly and smoothly, especially with the brush. I always spray my brush first. I just feel like it helps the product glide onto your skin better and just makes the application process a lot less dreadful and stressful. Okay, the next question is, how did you and your boyfriend meet? So it's kind of a long story, but we basically went to high school together. And we were not really friends until like his senior year, my junior year. And I actually was like dating a friend like in the friend group. We all used to hang out all the time though, and we were all very, very close. We would spend time at like each other's house. Like we basically spent an entire summer at each other's house like every single day. And basically once they graduated, I obviously was still a senior. I finished my senior year and then went off to college. Like I said, I played volleyball, and most of our friends went other places to play school, so they were all in different cities, and Jonathan was the only person who stayed in our hometown. We're both from Houston, stayed in our hometown and commuted back and forth to school. So when I would come home on the weekends or like for holidays and stuff, like he was the only person that I could hang out with. So I always would like reach out to him and like we would hang out and stuff, but it was always platonic, like we were just friends. My junior year of college, I actually was in nursing school at my first undergrad and I failed out that semester. I had also just got out of a situationship that summer, so I basically was just like going through a lot mentally. So the following spring, I decided to go home and spend spring break with my family, and Jonathan and I basically hung out every single day, and by the end of that week, him and I were talking. Like it all happened very, very fast. We were like friends one week and then the next week we were like basically like dating. Next, I'm gonna take some of the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter and just apply that over the foundation in places that I wanna look extra glowy. And instead of dragging, I like to pat this into the skin. Now, this is probably my favorite part of makeup application. I love contour and blush so much. I feel like they really just like bring the full makeup look together and you can really start to see the vision. So I'm going to be using the Dibs bronzer sticks. They basically have a bronzer on one side and a blush on the other. I love these products so much, purchased them with my own money, and then things just like kind of took off from there. And I have a discount code, so if you guys want to like try any of these products, I highly, highly, highly recommend. But I like to take the bronzer first. And I like to go a little bit higher than my like jawline. I'll kind of go like on top of my cheeks, and I feel like it really just like lifts the face. I also like to go on the outside of my eye, helps lift the eye, forehead, forehead, eye, and cheek. Oh, I almost forgot the nose. Do the sides of my nose, underneath, and right above the tip. Someone asked, how do you feel about nursing right now? I have lots of mixed feelings about nursing. If you guys have been following my journey for a while, I'm gonna take this brush and basically just like pat in the bronzer. But I have a lot of mixed feelings about nursing. I think that I am very happy that I went to school for it, and I am like very passionate about it. I think finding a love for creating kind of messed with me because nursing is such a scientific degree. Like everything is factual. There's so much evidence and research to back up what you're saying. Whereas creatively, you can kind of do whatever you want. You have a lot more freedom. It's a lot more open-minded. So I think that I'm falling in love with the idea of things being so open-minded, and there's so many opportunity. I can travel, and like I have the ability to create my own schedule, and it's just so much more flexible. Whereas with nursing, you're in a hospital for 12 hours and you have to see your patients and you have to do this and you have to do that. And nursing is such a prestigious profession, and I think that people forget that you're human and that like you can have a creative side and that you can like travel and that you can live your life. So many people get caught up just working, and I don't want to do that. And so I think that's part of the reason why it's been so hard for me to get back into my degree. Like I said, recently have gotten a new job, and I feel very excited for this opportunity. I interviewed and I really loved everyone that I interviewed with. It just seemed like a very joyous and like happy environment. Everyone seemed very friendly and very welcoming, especially as a new grad. You're basically learning for like a couple years really, but like you're really spending a full year training. And I wanted to be in an environment where I felt comfortable and I felt accepted and people weren't going to judge me because I didn't know enough. And I feel really good about this opportunity. I feel like I was meant to move to Austin. Like I was meant to apply at this hospital, and I was meant to like be around these people. So I'm very excited to see where it goes. I hope that I know that I won't be as flexible as I am now, but I do hope that I still have some sort of flexibility. And I do want to continue to pursue social media full-time-ish, I guess. So basically do both of them full-time and really see how I can like scale my business. I think that there's like this stigma, and then something like in my head was telling me that I couldn't do both. Like I had to pick. I either had to be a nurse or I had to be a creator and I want to do both. I don't want to be a nursing creator. Like I know that I talk about my life on here and I want to be able to like talk about my life and my career, but I don't want to solely talk about nursing. Like I don't think that's how I build my platforms. I love fashion, I love beauty, and I feel like it was my escape away from nursing. So I don't want to now bring that onto my channels and start talking about like how to be the best nurse and how to interview. Like that's not what I want this platform to be. So that's why I refrain from talking about it so much. And I think that's part of the reason why I was so scared of pursuing it, because I don't want this to turn into a nursing platform. Like I don't want people to come to me because they want to know like how to be the best nurse. Like that's not what this platform is. This platform is for me to express my creativity, how I like to style my outfits, my life, my travel, stuff like that. For blush today, I'm gonna be using this blush by Undone Beauty. It's called Dahlia. Using the same brush that I use to do my contour, and basically like to apply my blush on like the high points of my cheek and then take the excess and put it like on the apples. So like right above the contour. And then bring the excess onto the apples. And I go heavy with the blush. I love blush. I love really rosy cheeks. Had to go get the big boy just so I can make sure I don't look like a clown on the internet. Okay, now you're probably wondering where's the concealer. I'm going in with the NARS concealer. This is in the shade Amande, and it's pretty close to my skin tone. I put it right in the inner corner and the outer corner, draw like a little line. I also like to put a little in the middle of my forehead and then down the bridge of my nose. I'm also gonna take a little bit of the Armani Luminous Silk concealer and add that into the inner corner. It's a little bit brighter, so I feel like it'll really lighten under my eyes and then slightly in the middle of my forehead. And I like to let this sit on my face for a little bit, let it kind of like dry down so that the coverage is heavier. Like I get more of a full coverage, and then it also doesn't move as much, which I like. Taking a dirty, damp beauty sponge and just going to start blending that out. Do you feel a responsibility with representing Black women on social media? That is such a good question, and I do. I do it more for the people who have struggled with the same insecurities that I have and have never felt like people talk about it enough or like they feel alone. I think there are a lot of things that I have struggled with, knowing that I don't look like my peers, and I just have like suffered in silence. I recently talked about on my TikTok my like natural hair and how I've never felt beautiful with my natural hair. I have always like relaxed my hair probably since middle school or high school, and I just never felt like beautiful with like my natural textured hair. Lately, I have been doing protective styles and really trying to grow back out my natural hair because my hair was so heavily damaged. And I feel like there are a lot more things that I feel like people are starting to talk about. Like I feel like natural hair is such a big topic now. And people are becoming more open with their insecurities or things that are just like unjust and unfair in the Black community versus other communities or people of color, I will say. And I like that those conversations are starting to be brought up. I don't think that I am like the best person with all the information, and I don't know, I don't feel like I share all of that, but I think just by me producing content and just by me sharing my life, I'm representing somebody who feels included in this industry, and that is my purpose online. Yeah, okay, to set my under eyes, I got these powder puffs off of Amazon, and I'm just gonna set my concealer. I have like natural creases under my eyes, so I always really crease, but I like to set my concealer as soon as I apply concealer. so that I am minimizing the amount of creasing that I'll have. I don't like to bake though, so sometimes I'll take the excess, rub it on the back of my hand, and then go in. I'm also using the L'Oreal Under Eye Brightening setting powder. For the rest of my face, I'm going to set it with the Charlotte Tilbury setting powder. For bronzer, I'm taking this Jouer bronzer. It's cracked. I needed to get another bronzing powder. It's nice and cool tone, perfect for the fall and winter. This is my favorite blush palette of all time. This is the Rogue Romance by Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics. It is so good. The colors in here are absolutely beautiful, and I use this blush palette for every single look. These are my two favorite colors, this one and this one, and I just go right on top of my cream blush. Sometimes I like to take a little of the powder and just brush that on the tip of my nose, just to add a little bit of color back to my face. For eyes, I'm gonna keep it super simple. I'm taking this palette, it's super old. It's from Desi and Katie by Dose of Colors. And I'm taking the light brown shade and just putting that in my crease, kind of on top of where we put the contour earlier. And I love to drag the excess out to the tail of my brow. Dibs Beauty recently came out with these eyeliners, and I really hope I don't mess this up. I kind of have an idea in my head, so let's try and see if I can execute it. Okay, so I had to do one eye off camera, but I'm basically just doing like a really dramatic purple wing, starting on the inner corner, taking the liner and really focusing it like in this corner. And then taking this little tiny angle brush and really defining that point. And these liners are like immovable, but you have like a really quick work time. You have like 1 or 2 minutes before it really dries down, and then it's like stuck for the rest of the day. So you have to move quickly. Okay, it's the inner corner. Now, let's put the brush down. Focusing it on the outer corner, making sure that I match them up correctly. Just gonna draw a line up. And that's okay if it's kind of thick, because then again, we're gonna take this brush and really drag out that point. Make sure that it's very precise. Just like that. And now we can connect it more to the lash line. And you can really deepen up that color. Just like that, a really easy winged liner. My favorite mascara recently has been the Maybelline Lash Sensational Sky High mascara. I have very short, stubby lashes. They're very curled, which is nice, but they're so short and tiny, and this really lengthens them. Doesn't make them clumpy, keeps them separated. Like that's just one coat. Look at my eye compared to this one, non-existent. Now I got a little something. I love this purple color so much, it's so pretty. Where do you get your inspiration from? So I kind of pull my inspiration from everywhere. I will pull it from Pinterest or Instagram if I see someone on the street, other creators. Like I really do try and pull info from anywhere. I don't really think that I like follow any one particular person's style. I feel like some days I'm feeling like very girly and like I want to wear heels, and other days I'm feeling like very grungy, sneakers, baggy, like cargo pants, and like a baby tee. I just wear things that make me feel comfortable, also things that fit my body type. I think that is so important. I think when I was younger, I used to like try and wear a lot of things that just didn't suit me. Like for instance, like no shade, but Brandy Melville, it just didn't fit my body type. As many times as I tried to like purchase things from there and like look like all the hipster girls on Pinterest and Instagram, it just didn't work for me and it didn't look good, and I just looked crazy like I was trying to copy somebody. So I think it's very important to know your body type and what looks good on you. I have very, very long legs and the tiniest torso, so I feel like low-rise jeans coming back in style have been the best thing for me, because now I look so much more proportionate. I could wear my jeans low-rise, wear a little baby tee, and now it makes me look longer, makes my torso look longer, and I just think it suits me better. High-rise jeans just made my legs look like they came all the way up to my boobs, and then like I would wear a tiny tee and it just didn't fit me. So I think it's important to pull inspo from other people, but also remember what looks and fits you, and also like what fits your personal style. I think that finding your personal style is a whole nother topic, but I think you kind of have to play around with trending styles and then like classic styles, like whatever it is that you feel like you're gravitating towards, and really just like play around with things until you find things like, oh my God, I'm pulling for this all the time. I'm wearing these a lot, but I'm not wearing this. And then you can kind of curate your closet the way that you like. Okay, we are gonna wrap up this makeup look with some lips. So I'm gonna take this Tibbs lip liner. This is not a Dibs ad, but I love their products, so they are very heavily into my routine. But I'm using this Dibs lip liner. This is in the lip definer. This is in the shade Dark. And I slightly overline my lips, not really. Just like that. Next, we're gonna go in with the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream. This is in the shade London. I feel like this is like an OG. Everyone uses this. Put this in the center. And really melt those two together. Gonna take a little bit more. On my top lip and pat. And I kind of like to let that dry down a little bit before I go in with gloss. Do you have a photographer? I do not. I have people who will like help me take my photos, but I take all of my Instagram photos on my phone, all of my videos, like TikTok, everything on my phone. The only thing I use a camera for is my YouTube videos. And I personally feel like having like the newer phone, like as inconvenient as it is and as like non-financially resourceful it can be, I think that the better quality like camera really does make a difference in the way that your photos look. And I also shoot all of my videos in 4K at 60 frames per second. I feel like that also makes a really big difference. Also, using your back camera is the key. The front camera just does not do the job the way that the back camera does. So I always use my back camera. And when it comes to photos, I always have the grid on my phone, and I like to keep myself, so the grid is 9 boxes. I keep myself in the middle 2 bottom boxes, and it really elongates the body and just like makes it look more aesthetic on the feed, I feel. Now that my lips are a little dry, I'm gonna take the Dibs Beauty gloss. This is the clear gloss, and I'm just gonna put this on top. Now let's take this crusty thing off of my head. And this is the finished makeup look, guys. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned a little bit more about me and my life. And if you are new, definitely make sure that you subscribe. I also would highly recommend following me on my Instagram and my TikTok, because I share a lot more of my life and it's very fashion heavy. So if you're looking for some like fashion inspo, definitely follow me over there. But if you want to like know my day-to-day life, what's going on, definitely make sure that you subscribe, because I basically vlog my entire life for your entertainment. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so much, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.